There would have been a cummerbund involved.
Cummerbund. The last time I wore a tuxedo was a Dumb and Dumber costume.
Oh my gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been cleared for takeoff. You are now flying high with Travis Lamance.
What's going on, Flyin High friends? Welcome to another episode of the Flight Deck. We got me and Dubb hanging out with you today. We're going to do a little recap of our conversation with Patrick Burns from Palace Coffee. It was a pretty excellent conversation, huh?
It was, man. I enjoyed it. I knew he would be because I've had a couple of conversations with him previously, and I just like the way he thinks, and he tends to have kind of a contrarian perspective on a lot of things in a way that's really helpful to humanity and mankind.
Not contrary just for contrary's sake.
Right.
Right.
Kind of offering a solution.
That's some interesting perspectives for sure.
Yeah. And he just operates with a lot of excellence. His coffee shops are always top notch. They're winning the awards. They have a good vibe. They're always packed out.
Yeah.
And Amarillo's kind of coffee heavy, I would say, for
I can't imagine trying to compete. The conversation, the direction it went, we didn't get to go into it, but that was one of the things I was hoping to talk to him about was, like, you throw a rock in Amarillo, you hit 3 coffee shops. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the competition in that environment with that many coffee shops in one area, and he kills it. He does good with it, but, man.
Yeah. And he's looking to help more people open more coffee shops. That shows that you are secure in your product and your brand and what it is that you do when you're able to look at such a congested industry,
right,
and see that there's still more room for excellence.
Yeah. We kind of wound up going down a whole more humanitarian rabbit trail than talking just about coffee. What were some of your takeaways from what he had to say about all that?
Yeah, I liked how he was wise enough to kind of throw, this may be the wrong phrasing, but kind of throw Canyon a bone when it came to naming it and realize that he is a quote-unquote outsider. Because I used to live in that town for a long time, and there was a very much either you're a Canyonite or you're not.
Right.
For no good reason. Except,
clicky.
We tend to be territorial as humans, right?
Yeah.
And so the wherewithal that he had to say, okay, I want to come into that community. I want to make it better. And I'm going to do whatever I can to just help people to lower those what's the right word, like barriers to entry. And how can I honor the town? How can I honor the history and come in with some humility, just saying, hey, I may not live here. I may not be considered a quote-unquote Canyonite, but I want to honor your city and just bring something of excellence into it. And so, I just thought that showed a lot of wherewithal, especially as young as he was when he made that decision and he caught on that would be such a good business strategy. Right. And I felt like that was one of those keys that he dropped in passing that a lot of young entrepreneurs could really benefit from, is taking that idea into account. What is the culture of the area? What is it that they value? How can I give them a nod? That's probably better, right? than throw them a bone. How do I give them a nod so that it just helps everything go smoother for everybody?
For sure. And for people that aren't from here to understand between Amarillo and Canyon, they're basically connected. It's not like Amarillo to Lubbock or a couple hours away.
Right.
They're almost one community, but there is that kind of clickiness about us versus them on it. So for him to be from Amarillo and know going into Canyon, he needed to pick up on that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. That was a good key. And then I really appreciated one of the phrases that he said specifically was serving people is noble. And it sounds like one of those things that could be kind of cliche or just sound like the right thing to do. But when you know him, when you know his companies and you've experienced it, and just the level of consistency that you'll experience in your experience there, how you feel, how you're treated, over and above the great product that they have, that's really something that he and Crystal have taken to heart, that's true and authentic to who they are. And I think that's another one of those keys that's universal, understanding that supplying someone's need and dignifying the individual that they are in that exchange. It's like, man, how can you go wrong with that?
For sure. And it's just nice having a conversation with someone that is presenting their point of view with integrity, that you can, even if you don't agree with all the way they look at things, me and him have never got into a real political discussion, but knowing certain things, I would bet money that we disagree on how to get from A to Z, but both of us have the same heart of taking care of people and treating people kindly, and you know, the whole end goal of where we're trying to get with people is the same. And I think it's a unifying force that even though we may have a difference of opinion on how we get there, as long as more people would just have an honest, integrity driven conversation like that, I think you could just get a lot more people on the boat, you know. Everyone would work better together if they were just being honest about it.
Yeah, because really, we're all on the same boat anyway.
We are.
We're just not rowing in the same direction, even though we have the same destination in mind. It's
Makes
wild,
us go
man.
these circles and circles.
It's so exhausting. And like he pointed out, you know, and on top of all that, we're all adults. So why can't we have authenticity and integrity and kindness and respect all together?
Right.
And then, man, I think things would move in the right direction a whole lot quicker.
A lot smoother for sure.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. As if you got left and right wings politically, you know, and one's rowing this way and one's rowing that way, then you're just going in circles and you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then if you try mixing them all together, but they're not on the same page, then you just have all this thrashing and fighting and nothing's happening. Yeah. So it's, you know, that whole rowing the same direction is a good analogy because either way you split it, the result sucks. Facts. So you got to figure out how to get everyone willingly going in the same direction, knowing that we're trying to get to the same place. And honestly, I think most people are trying to get to the same place. They just have a very different outlook on how we're doing it. And I think a lot of it is perspective, you know, on where you're from and some of your value systems and some of your moral systems may cause conflict in there. But ultimately, like we talked about in there, I think at the end of the day, everyone just wants to feel valued and happy and stable and be able to provide for their family, and just different opinions on how to get there. Yeah. Like I'm right and they're wrong, and if they would just understand that, we'd all be happier. Right.
It would make things easier. I'll totally track it with you, man. And bro, I really appreciated that piece you dropped in there with the dad fail. You know, it's easy to share the dad wins, but man, it's also great to hear somebody own a dad fail on a platform where hopefully younger dads, you know, are going to be able to catch that and not make that same mistake, you know.
Yeah, my goal with all of this is just to be transparent and honest, and when stuff's good and winning, I'm going to celebrate it, and when it's not, I'm going to own it and learn from it, and hopefully other people learn along with it. And that one, they're not fun. They kind of suck, but they're real and they're part of life.
Facts, man. I was thinking about when I have a Cinda recently where I realized she would come to like show me something on TikTok or Instagram or something. And it's like, to me, I'm like, that's obviously fake, right? But she doesn't know that. Right. And so I started, you know, a couple of years ago with her just like, hey, you can't believe everything you see on TikTok or anything, you know, did you get that off TikTok, you know? And eventually I realized she wasn't showing me anything anymore. And I was like, oh, damn, like I've cut off an opportunity to have conversation with her. And so I had to adjust that, you know, and I apologized to her first. And then I was like, I want you to be able to show me anything. And then let's figure out how to figure out if it's real or not together. And so in equipping her to be able to navigate social media, which is getting crazier by the minute with AI, right? Teaching her how to navigate what's real and what's not, rather than just dismissing something that she's interested in, even if what she was seeing was a fake portrayal of it. It was like one of those adjustments that brought opportunity for connection and conversation back into the picture, man.
Yeah. I was observant to realize she wasn't bringing you stuff anymore either, though. Like most people wouldn't even have picked up on the fact that, hey, she hadn't been bugging me with these in a while. And in the moment, sometimes when they're bugging you with something, it's almost a distraction or annoyance, and then you lose it and you're like, oh shit,
dude.
That's
good. Exactly how I felt, man.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm gonna miss her annoying me with TikTok someday, you know. Yep. And I mean, I'm not on TikTok. I don't have a lot of use for it, you know. But it's like, hey, if that's something that she enjoys and we can connect on it, now all of a sudden I have a value for it. Right. So little adjustments, man. Yeah. Goes a long way. I was thinking about, you mentioned a couple of times about drawing parallels between the coffee business and the aviation space. And I really appreciated what Patrick had done, kind of making a stand against the, what's it called, the death before decaf
Right.
move, right? Which is kind of like the
Yeah.
cool coffee thing. And like, no, we want to be caffeined out of our
Yeah.
minds. You know, we don't have use for decaf. And he's like, y'all are dumb because you're missing a whole
Whole market.
a whole market.
Yeah.
Where have you seen like something similar where there's a market for something that's tied to the aviation space, but because people don't have a value for it, they're missing out on, but you've been able to make a move to capitalize on it?
I think a lot of it in our space is related to aircraft types and categories. So like you'll get somebody that's operating like a mid-sized jet, and just for example, they let's just say a Challenger 300 or a Challenger series aircraft. That's the best aircraft. That's it. And they'll get laser focused on that's the only thing. And if you fly anything else, you're an idiot. And then you'll get one that's in the Falcon world. And if you fly anything other than that, you're an idiot. And they get niched down into that one market where they don't realize they're disserving their customers and their clients because they get so focused on that one thing that they don't realize they're cutting their client off from a better option for their needs. And so
Yeah.
keeping the lens broad enough that, hey, I may prefer these things about this aircraft type. I may prefer these things about this one. This one may be an objectively better airplane, or this one may be. But if it doesn't fit your client's needs, it's the wrong airplane. And people get so, and it's kind of like the coffee. His client didn't want caffeinated coffee. Okay, my job is to serve the client what they need. If he needs a decaffeinated coffee, that's what I'm going to get him. So if my personal favorite airplane is this Challenger, but my client needs this aircraft over here, whether it's an entry point price to fit their budget, whether it's their mission it's a better fit for, whether it's they like the lav being in this part of the plane instead of this part of the plane. My personal bias,
I've never thought about that, but yeah.
my personal bias shouldn't detract from the best outcome for my customer.
Yeah.
I'm here to serve my client and my customer, and whatever the best outcome for them is the best outcome. Not, oh yeah, I get everybody to go to this airplane. And we've dealt with a lot of people that they cut their clients' long-term benefit short because they want it their way, not how does the client want it. And it's the same thing he was talking about with the caffeinated versus decaffeinated. And it's there again, the parallel's the same. It's is your end goal the optimal outcome for your client, or is the end goal to be right?
Yeah.
Mine is my client.
Yeah.
So if that's always my end goal is serving my client with integrity, then it doesn't matter what I like. It's what's best for them.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing he's after, I think, with that.
Nailed it. Which aircraft is always the wrong decision? Put them on blast, please. I'm just joking. Don't answer that. I'm not sure if Paul is ready for that court case.
Right.
Excellent conversation, though. And it is cool to be able to sit down with entrepreneurs and have the conversation branch out into, things about life and humanity. Because one of the things he did mention, and we would both agree, I believe, is that you have to have business for society to exist, for culture to exist. And so it's everyone who is in business. I know it can get to the point where it's like, I just want to focus on business and like forget about the rest of the world. But you'd probably be missing out on a component that you can lend to your community by being a business leader, providing service in that arena. And so I just appreciated it being such a well-rounded conversation. And I think y'all could have gone another hour. Easy.
I think so. Yeah, it was good and in depth, and I left there with a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about that we didn't get to cover. So we may have to do a round two somewhere down the road with him or something, because he's got a lot to offer and a lot to talk about and interesting take on things. So it was fun, and I do think he's one of the type of business leaders that understands how to lean into the community aspect of it more than a lot of us do, myself included. I'm guilty of that. I get wrapped up in in my industry, not necessarily my business, but in my industry. I'm constantly looking at what is going on all around aviation and all around our industry, but I can't tell you what's going on the other side of my town. Like I don't focus on what's going on in my town, but I do in the industry. And he's one that he knows, like, hey, there's a problem in this part of town and this person's helping in this part of town, and he's truly committed to this community that we're in. And I guess the parallel difference there is he is very intentionally staying local. He doesn't want to own coffee shops in every single state, where my whole mission is to operate the whole
Abu Dhabi.
Exactly.
Dubai. What are we doing?
Dubai, man. Dubai, man. That's the next one.
It takes both, though. You know, I think there's correlations between having a heart for humanity in the world and having a heart for the neighborhood and the community as well. And they're both helpful.
To me, if I build a strong brand and a strong business in a whole bunch of communities and empower my leadership in those communities to focus on the local level, that's higher leverage for me than me personally being the one to go and directly influence that community. So I think I look at it zoomed out just a little bit higher, that my mission is to build a brand and empower local leaders. And
hey guys, we'll get back to the video in a sec, but first, quick question for you business owners and high achievers watching. When you're traveling around the country for deals, scaling teams, or managing stress, are you actually flying with a team that makes your life easier? Or are you dealing with scheduling headaches, surprise maintenance bills, and too many moving parts behind the scenes? Well, that's why today's sponsor, Haven Aviation Services Group, exists. Think of them as the safe haven of the sky. Haven is a vertically integrated aviation company, meaning they handle everything under one roof. From your private jet charters, aircraft management, brokerage, maintenance, avionics, and premium grade services at their FBO. For aircraft owners especially, this is the absolute real best value. Instead of juggling pilots, insurance, scheduling, maintenance, hangars, legal docs, Haven manages it all in one place. No guessing, no surprises, and no wondering why something suddenly costs six figures. Their entire focus is transparency, safety, and long-term planning. So you actually trust the people managing your aircraft and don't have to stress about it at all. So if you want an aviation partner that operates with the same discipline and results-driven mindset we talk about on the show, hit the link in the description to connect with Haven Aviation Services Group. Big thanks to Haven ASG for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back to the show.
we'll see. I think it's
Well, you have. I mean, he gave you several shout outs on how your engagement in the founders group, and you might mention like what that is, because some young entrepreneurs may need to plug into one of those, find one of those, and
for sure
they could at least find one online, even if there's not one in their specific community. But your investment in that arena, like that's impacted the whole community through what Patrick's doing.
And he's what he was referring to is, they call it a founders club. It's basically business owners, CEOs get together and talk about their business, what's working, what's not, in a kind of a confidential arena where you can be a little more open with everybody on what's going on. And that one that he's talking about is part of a business incubator here in Amarillo. And for new startup people, if you can find a business incubator, it's super helpful, because they usually have entrepreneurial coaches on staff. They have resources to SBA information, and they're usually attached to the SBA. Like the one here in Amarillo, they just had a new director take over, and the new director is in the SBA and in the incubator. She runs both of them. So there's a lot of parallels to get you resources. And then they usually have like office space that you can pick up pretty cheap, and like the one here in Amarillo has like a full commercial grade kitchen. If you're doing like any kind of food products or anything, like they've launched several like tortilla companies and salsa companies, and like there's a fair amount of like food-based companies. This one's launched here. They usually have like a manufacturing area if you need access to like a lathe or a welder or something that you don't have the capital to go buy initially. So they're great. I love supporting them wherever I can, because they're whenever you're first starting out in a business, there's a lot of stuff you just don't have the money, and you don't know what you don't know. And they're really good about driving home a business plan, and they make you boil it all down into, okay, how is this actually a viable business instead of a pie in the sky dream? And they're good at walking you through the process of taking this visionary dream thing that you want to do and and distilling it down into an actual implementable
I like it.
project
I
that you can actually go do something with, and then help you come up with ideas on how to fund it and cash flow and get it going. And then the one here in Amarillo has a component to it that you can actually participate in this challenge where you put in a business plan and you go through this whole series of coaching and through this presentation period, you go through a pitch like you would a Shark Tank pitch, like is what people might say. And then you have these judges that watch it, and then they score it and they say, is this a viable business? Is this going to bring business into our community? Is this worth spending money on? And if they say yes, then they'll actually award you money, and you can go and use that money to scale up your business. And then over the course of like a 3 or 5, I think it's 5-year period, they forgive a certain amount of that money every year just for you to show up and say, hey, I'm doing it. And so it's a kind of a cool accountability tool to make you stay on track with what your business was. And yeah, it's a great program.
Nice. So yeah, check out around your community and see what resources are available and who you know, right? It's
always
who you know, not what you know. So who do you know that is in that space and can give you a heads up? Check all that out. And yeah, the value for the community that Patrick had. I loved that the Coffee, the Universal Language, that documentary crew was just passing through Amarillo, stops at Palace Coffee and realizes, dang, this is like
good.
we should do a whole episode here. And so he did, but he also like sent them over to the 806 and like pulled in other people in the community to competition, right? He sent them to competition so they could share some of the wealth too and the exposure. And that's awesome. I can't wait for that to come out. And that might be, when that comes out available, that might be the great time to pull him back for another one.
For sure. See how that went.
Remind people about that's available and all that good stuff. But yeah, man, dynamite episode. Really enjoyed it. And we had to shoot a lot of content today because we're about to be out of pocket. I'm not complaining. We're leaving cold Amarillo to go to Miami again.
Spend a week in Miami. No one complains about that generally.
Nope. So what all do you want to share with what's going on in Miami these upcoming days?
We share it all, man.
Hey, here we go.
When we go down to Miami for the week, we are going to Inside Success Studios, which is part of this Damon John project that we're part of, and they have a red carpet event going on one night, and then
no tuxedos.
No tuxedos.
You almost got me,
dude. I should have sent you with tails and everything. That would have been great.
He told me I needed a tuxedo for this event, and then thankfully he hit me back a short time later and said, "My bad, just black tie." Can you imagine if he had not re-upped the info? And I was the only one that showed up.
To be fair, I don't even know the difference. So
there would have been a cummerbund involved.
Cummerbund. The last time I wore a tuxedo was a Dumb and Dumber costume.
Oh my gosh, that's what we should have gone with, dude. We missed out.
We did. I think I still have mine. So
did you have the blue one or the orange one?
I had the orange one.
The orange one?
Yeah. My cousin Jake had the blue one.
Nice.
It's what we wore to my sister's wedding.
Seriously? Did she know?
I asked her what the dress code was, and she says, "I don't care, wear whatever you want." So me and Jake wore Dumb and Dumber costumes.
That was her bet for sure.
Yeah,
because she'd known you her whole life.
Yeah, she about died when she saw that. But she was having a panic attack and was about to pass out, and then she saw us and just chilled out and laughed,
nice.
And so we accidentally saved the day.
That feels right.
When we were intentionally trying to sabotage the day.
Backfired.
But anyway, they're doing an expose thing on me for this thing called Next Level CEO. So we'll be doing a bunch of the studio recording and all that on Monday. Don't know when that's coming out. Probably 2 or 3 months from now, I would imagine. But we're doing that, and then we got like a mastermind group for some stuff that we're doing with them. And then Wednesday, we have the NBAA Opelika Phorm. So we have one of our Falcon 50s on static display down there. So we'll have access to the aircraft. People can come on it and sit on it, hang on it, and check it out, do all the things. Yeah. And so that'll be fun, getting to interface with a bunch of new people on that one. And so, yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on down there, and look forward to it. I think it's going to be fun going to that Inside Success studio, and they all the cool stuff, you know.
Heck yeah.
It'll be interesting. They do. I've got their they've got their own channel that you can like download on your TV or whatever and play episodes on it. So I've been watching some of the episodes and seeing what they're doing. They do a really good job.
Yeah. High level of excellence. It's going to be some great footage for sure. And
maybe we'll learn some new tricks in the mastermind.
I guarantee it, man.
Always investing in that education.
Yeah.
It's something you can't lose, you know?
I like to know how to win, man.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
So I spend a lot of time reading and going to schools and learning, and you take what's good and throw out the bad, and constant progression towards perfection.
Yeah. But you implement it.
Oh,
which
gosh,
is the thing that I know a lot of people can miss. Is that implementation factor.
You can chase the thrill of the schools and the masterminds and the energy and go home and do nothing with it, and then you just wasted a bunch of money. Execution is everything. You have to take it and execute on it. And
100%.
It's easy to chase the high of those feelings and not do anything with it. Yeah, that's a big pet peeve of mine. Is I just taught you all this and you're just not doing anything. Right? Come on, go do something with it. Yeah,
absolutely.
People get so empowered by knowledge that they just sit on and waste, and it drives me crazy. I want to see people win and kick the world's ass and be successful, and you can lead the horse to water, but it's some people just lack that execution button.
That's true, for sure. So don't let that be you.
Yeah.
Whoever's listening today.
Execute.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's one thing, like being in the position I'm in, I have people hit me up all the time. Well, I got this idea for this, and I got this idea and this idea. And there's so many people out there that have 1,000 ideas a day. I'm one of them. I have 1,000 ideas a day, but ideas aren't worth shit without execution. Like it's dead energy if you're not going to go do something with it. Like you can't act on all 1,000 ideas a day that you have. You got to pick them, but you have to have the discipline to focus on those specific ones that are going to be winners and see them through and execute them and implement them. And I mean, to me, it's a insult to the universe to be blessed with the mind to get those ideas and have those thoughts and have that vision and then just let it and never do anything with it. I feel like the people that are blessed with that vision, it's incumbent upon them to see those things come to fruition to the benefit of the rest of humanity. So I'll go down a whole tirade with that one. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. No, I've seen that value that you have for the execution in your life, and that's why we're sitting in a dope FBO that didn't exist a couple of years ago, man. For sure. So, well, we're going to head off to Miami. I'm excited to see who we meet, what we get to learn, what sort of content we get to capture. And I'm sure we'll be giving you guys a taste of the flavor from down there. And so enjoy that. Make sure you like, subscribe, share all the things, and we'll catch you next time.
See y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been cleared for takeoff. You are now flying high with Travis Lamance.